Hi, everybody, and welcome to another video here on the Media Files. Yeah, this time around, I figured we would do something that I haven't done in a while, is do another collection overview. Yeah, basically, it's all about one movie this time, but it is multiple versions of it. Yeah, some of them were pretty easy to track down. One was really hard to find. What movie is that? Find out next here on the Media Files. Welcome back. With this particular movie, I knew of it and I'd heard, that it was okay and what have you, but, if you kind of break it down and, you kind of tear it apart or whatever, you realize how much of an epic film that, this is. Now, granted, the director has made lots and lots of great entertainment, including, which I'm sure you'll probably figure out who it is, JFK, Platoon, what else? World Trade Center, uh, yeah, Mr. Oliver Stone. That's right. This time we're talking about his mega epic film that I think is his only real major epic that he's ever done, to my knowledge. I'm, of course, talking about none other than the Val Kilmer film, Alexander. Yeah. Now, this film, I remember when it came out in, I believe it was 2004. Yeah, 2004 is when it came out. So, wow, almost 20 years ago. And I tell you what, I remember watching this film, here and there, and, it was epic. It was huge. It had battle sequences. Kind of basically, kind of came out right around the same time as the Brad Pitt film Troy. And there was kind of like this big kind of resurgence of, going back to the times of old and Greek mythology and what have you. But when I read that Oliver Stone was finally doing his epic Alexander film, I'm like, sweet, that ought to be awesome. And sure enough, it was awesome. It still is. And the funny thing is, it's still in here, is the ticket that to go see the movie in theaters. And I'm like, you know what? That's staying in there because I never used it. I just waited until it came out on DVD. So with this, this is actually this version is the theatrical cut. Yes, the theatrical cut that runs for 175 minutes, so almost 3 hours. Now, what's kind of cool about it is that it has, you can tell by if you look, you might be able to pause it there, but it's kind of hard to tell. But the writing there, this was from Blockbuster, because it has the Blockbuster writing on it. But it's kind of cool that the film itself is, it's actually split up into two parts. So you have the first half, and then you have the other half on disc 2. So, but for the first part of the first disc, you have the first half with the commentary by Oliver Stone and historian Robin Lane Fox. And you also have Vangelis scores Alexander, the theatrical trailers, as well as language and subtitles. Now, for disc 2, you have the movie conclusion, plus, commentary. Then you also have behind-the-scenes documentaries directed by Sean Stone, which is Oliver Stone's son, in 3 documentaries: Resurrecting Alexander, Perfect is the Enemy of Good, and The Death of Alexander. Plus, it also has some DVD-ROM features and whatnot, but I don't think those are actually available anymore. They were probably about 20 years ago, but not so much anymore. But what's kind of cool about it is that it kind of feels like the way they have it cut and whatnot is that it kind of makes you feel like an intermission where you get up to a certain point that you need to take a break in between because you've invested so much time into the story and into the characters that your brain needs to have a break to kind of, process what you've just seen. That way you can, sit down and finish off the epic conclusion. So yeah, it was long, and I'm surprised that he got Vangelis to score this. If you don't know who that is, I'm sure most of you movie buffs will know. He's the composer of Blade Runner, Chariots of Fire, lots of amazing scores. Go find them. And not only that, this one rules too. So with that movie, now, but the funny thing is with this particular version, usually whenever I try to find the theatrical cut, it's always in the full screen edition. I want widescreen. I found it. Thank God. So up next, we have one that you basically can find just about everywhere, but it's usually in full screen. I found widescreen, finally. We have the Alexander Director's Cut. Yeah, I'd like to thank whoever wrote on the case there. Maybe I could just replace the case with the contents inside. But anyways, so this is the Director's Cut with a newly inspired, faster paced, and more action-packed. Yeah. So now with this film, they managed to squeeze the film onto one disc this time. And then they have, art for basically all of it, which is awesome. Disc art. We like disc art. So they have bonus features. And basically from the looks of things, the bonus features that were all featured on here have all just been ported over to the special features disc on here. And the movie has been cut down by about 8 minutes. So basically we lose about 8 minutes of time on the director's cut. Usually whenever you think director's cut, well, shouldn't it be longer? Yes and no. Kind of depends on really what the director wants to do with it. So the director's cut runs for 167 minutes. So we lose roughly about 8 minutes of footage, which it'll be kind of interesting to see, to go back and see what was cut and what, and kind of if anything else was kind of rearranged. So couple years later, Oliver Stone announces that he's gonna do one more cut, as in, the director's cut really isn't what he wanted, but that's kind of more what the studio kind of wanted. He wanted to do his version of it. So this time around, about 3 years later, he brings out Alexander Revisited, the final cut. Yeah. 2-disc special edition, which basically has a little personal note there, why a third version, basically explaining why he created a third cut of the film. So the film is in 2 discs, what have you. Same artwork for both. However, the runtime, the film runs 214 minutes. Yeah, so we've added about an additional 30 minutes of film added back into it. So now it runs almost 3 hours, just about 3 hours, over 3 hours. Yeah. Now, there's only one bonus feature on here, and it's basically just an introduction by Oliver Stone, basically giving a explanation as to why there's basically a third cut. So you're thinking, sweet. That's actually pretty cool that you got all 3 versions of the film. Nope. He decided to do one more pass on this film. I'm like, how much more could you do with this movie? But I'm like, as far as I know, this is the only movie that I know of that has received that has a total of maybe 4 cuts, and they've all been officially released. Yeah, I said 4 cuts. That's right. Alexander, the Ultimate Cut. Yeah, now this one was so hard to find. I mean, the only place I found this at, happened to get lucky, and I found this at a Goodwill of all places. I just happened to look over and I saw this, the red looking spine. I'm like, Alexander, is that a different version? No, that's the Ultimate Cut. Yes, I finally found the Ultimate Cut. So, time difference. Is there a time difference? Yes. You have the final cut of 214 minutes. This version, 207 minutes. So he cuts out 7 minutes out of the film just to make an ultimate cut. I'm like, what is that? Is the final cut basically, just all the deleted scenes thrown together? Basically. And granted, they got the entire movie on one disc with a commentary. Yes, there is a commentary done by Oliver Stone specifically for the director for the Ultimate Cut. Now, it kind of sucks that yes, there's 4 versions of this film, and there is no documentary about why are there 4 versions of the film. I would love for them to actually, for there to be like a, like a Blu-ray or a 4K edition that gets released sometime that has, all 4 editions, and then to have like a documentary explaining all the differences between all 4 versions of the film. And, this particular edition took me about a couple years to find because I didn't want to pay the price on Amazon, because Amazon was asking what was it? They were asking maybe 20 to $25. I'm like, I know I could find that cheaper. Yeah. That's quite a lot of Alexander. Yeah. If you are looking to literally kill an afternoon, you've got a whole afternoon worth of entertainment just for one movie. Oh, yeah. Someday I might actually do that, because I literally just found the Ultimate Cut about, what was it? I think maybe about 2 or 3 months ago. And, so that search is finally over, thank God. So, yeah, basically, these two, so you have about 3 hours, almost 3 hours, over 3 hours, and basically over 3 hours, but we lose 7 minutes. Okay. Yeah. So with that, that completes the Alexander collection by Oliver Stone. I don't think he's going to do any more cuts, but, what can I say? He can do whatever he wants. He's Oliver Stone, for God's sake. So with that, please like and subscribe. Please continue watching for more major collection overviews. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.